to Unity of Santa Barbara Sunday service in person and online. So excited to see everyone here in the sanctuary and all of you at home. Wow. Wow. It's kind of emotional. It's been a big 3 months, hasn't it? It's just so amazing to see all your beautiful faces. Thank you so much. Great to see you all at home. I feel your energy. I just want to take a minute and just acknowledge what we've been through and just to really give a huge thank you to the staff. There has been so much going on behind the scenes here. It's really been amazing. And all of the staff, you know who they are. They have just been amazing, tirelessly working so hard. And we are doing really well. I mean, everything, considering what's going on, Unity of Santa Barbara is doing really well. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you. And then another big thing, lots of big things going on around here, is the search team. They have done so much work, really, so hours and hours, just extensive, very professional. I'm so impressed with them, and they have brought us wonderful minister candidates. We are rolling with that in all of this, in this different time. And I just want to say their names out loud and acknowledge them. Russ Chafin, Catherine Weisenberg, Catherine Weisenberg, Catherine, there. Luke Pinoli, Prissy Barber, and our board liaison to the team, Sarah Linares. Yeah. So we have minister candidates coming to visit us. Members are receiving that information. If you're a member and you're not receiving that information, please let Sherry know, call her in the office or send her an email. So all those details are being shared through email and mailing letters to the members. Well, onward and upward, here we go. I just also want to give a big acknowledgement to everything that's been going on the property and the grounds, and just take a look around. After service walk around, it's really transforming. It's been a long road with this, and it's basically done, and it's really just great to see how beautiful all the buildings, everything inside and outside. So lots to keep coming, and we're moving forward into the future.
And no hugging yet, but soon. Thank you, Allison. So good to see you back. And thank you to the board again. You mentioned them holding us together in the zillions of hours I know you spent in extra meetings and all kinds of discussions and decisions that had to be made. I'm very grateful, and I know all of us here are too. The daily word for today is Father's blessing. I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. My relationship with my father may have been positive and nurturing, or difficult and challenging. He may have been a strong presence during my childhood, or he may have been absent. We may be part of each other's lives today. We may be estranged, or he may have passed on. Whatever our circumstances, I bless my Father, and I see him enfolded in divine love. As I honor my Father, I honor all father figures who've helped guide me along my path. Family members, teachers, neighbors, clergy, employers, friends, and other heroes. I bless them as I recall all the ways each one, in a unique way, has modeled strength, guidance, wisdom, and patience. Their presence remains with me thanks to their gifts of fatherly love. And from Proverbs, I have taught you the way of wisdom. I have led you in the paths of uprightness. So let us celebrate and be glad for the Father of the soul within each of us. Happy Father's Day. We are so fortunate to have Noreen Brocky back with us. Now hear lovely music from her as the deer. Thank you. It's so good to hear you. Okay, the news of unity. We welcome those who are watching at home and all of you here. Our official reopening in-person service. Hooray, we are back. However, there are some conditions. As part of Santa Barbara County health officials' pandemic protocols, we can only seat up to 25% of our capacity in the sanctuary, so we have set up a registration system for those who wish to attend in person. We have a few open seats here, too, so for those who haven't signed up, there's still room. Think about that as you sign up. There will be some space set aside for overflow. If you didn't register and still show up, though it can't be guaranteed you get a seat, we have some seats right outside the sliding doors. And in the back, I presume. You can call the office if you have questions. In addition to physical distancing, masks and temperature screening will be required prior to the Sunday service, prior to entering the sanctuary. If you are sick, please stay at home. Services will continue to be live streamed on our website. Next week, next Sunday, June 28th, we switch to 2 services. The new times will be 9:30 and 11:15. When? 9:30 and 11:15. Next Sunday, Reverend Heidi Alfrey visits us. Next Saturday, before next Sunday, Reverend Heidi will be offering a workshop entitled, What If God Was One of Us? Seeing the divinity in yourself and in everything. Whoa, that is part of our mission, isn't it? This workshop will be held here in the sanctuary, available for viewing online also. Registration will be required to be here. More details can be found in the weekly newsletter as well as on the website. You can also call or email the office if you have any questions. On July 12th, in 3 weeks, Reverend Bob Ular will visit us. Here in the sanctuary, there will not be live singing, except for the peace song with the masks on, nor will there be offering baskets passed around. There will be love offering boxes at the exits. At the end of the service, ushers will direct you on the sliding doors with appropriate spacing. We will not provide refreshments after service, but you are welcome to visit outside in our beautiful courtyard. Do thank Sherry and the board for the lovely courtyard. Allison's been working on this for 3 years. Some of us for even longer. More usable space than ever before. We're so fortunate. We have been active during this time. And now let us affirm our vision, mission, core values, and statement of faith. Our vision is the ideal toward which we strive. Together, centered in divine love, we celebrate a kind and awakened world filled with peace, abundance, and joy. So we aspire to be centered in divine love. Our mission is in the means whereby we manifest this vision. Together, we inspire, educate, and serve to awaken our oneness with Spirit. As we are inspired by life itself, we inspire those with whom we live and move today. Our core values are the strengths we are committed to demonstrate to realize our mission. Together, we are community. We are abundance. We are love. We are God-centered. We are inclusive. We are living consciously and slowly growing into who we are destined to be. Our statement of faith is our basic belief of who we are. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the infinite, living, loving presence of God. And so for a few moments, let us reflect on this, the meaning of these wise words, the presence and power to which we are connected. And as we are, we seek to be receptive to our indwelling spirit, our soul, radiating to us beauty and love of the divine. More than human love comes from a higher source. It activates our mind to be loving with its thoughts, its creativity, its plans, what we've learned from the past, what we're learning from the present, how we are optimistic about the future. And as the Spirit flows through the mind into the heart, it awakens our ability to find and express goodwill, not only to friends and those we enjoy, but those with whom we have trouble, those with whom we disagree, those with whom we prefer not to see. Our goodwill emanates to all of these as we consciously ask it to do so. Our soul seeks this to happen and is eager to share it with all with whom we are in contact. And from our heart it moves into our body, that it may be healthy and well in every way, vibrant as we fulfill the purposes for which we are here. And so it is. We now get to hear the Gloria from our marvelous Unity Choir. then a message from Reverend Cathy.
Well, I just want to acknowledge this audience. I don't know if any of you know this, but last week we had kind of a rehearsal, and there's something about the masks that just kind of, you feel like you're in your own little world, and I felt like I was talking to a bunch of mannequins. And so I'm grateful for your interaction with me today, and if something speaks to you, just say amen, or raise up your hand, or dance in the aisles, whatever you need to do. This will also be kind of a rehearsal for when we have our guest speakers in the next few weeks coming up. So thank you for clapping, for smiling. I feel your energy, I really do. Thank you. Well, this is Father's Day, and we welcome and we celebrate our fathers. Dads are different than moms. They parent differently, they protect differently, they teach differently. For me growing up, my mom would invest in a lot of protective gear because she would have to, get us vests, life vests and knee pads. My dad would, he'd make us do these, swimming lessons, but only for a short period of time before he booked a whitewater rafting trip. And then he would hold on to our bikes as we were learning to ride our bikes, and then followed by a very scary bike trail down a mountain. And so he was very adventurous in his parenting skills. My dad is now 88 years old in a home where he has hospice care 2 times a week. So this Father's Day is a tad bit raw for me. So just bear with me, my friends. When I look at my dad's life, I look at what he taught me, and it has been immense, especially in the world of business. My mom taught me my spiritual foundation, and my dad gave me the theme, if you have enough nerve, anything is possible, which has been very beneficial for me, but it has also gotten me in a lot of trouble. Sometimes I act without always seeing the precautions or repercussions down the line. So today's lesson is about karma. In 2004, when I first moved here to California, I moved to this quaint little house in Ojai, surrounded by all these beautiful trees. And on one side, there was this huge hedge, and on the other side of the hedge were 3 teenage boys. And normally, it was very quiet. But on occasion, I would hear them. And on this one occasion, I heard, "Wow, Aaron, you have so stepped in it." And I'm thinking, well, Aaron must have stepped in something. You can use your imagination as to what he might have stepped in. The next week, I hear it again. "Oh man, Aaron, you are in such trouble. You have really stepped in it this time." Interesting choice of words. You have stepped in it. What exactly does that mean? So I was working at my computer, hearing this in the background, and it was just then that I had received an email that I didn't think was very nice about me, about the congregation, and about the church. And it was an email from someone who was an atheist, but they decided they were just going to tear down our church and our congregation. So I was a bit offended. My fingers were all poised to send a pretty scornful email, if you will, when all of a sudden I hear, "Aaron, don't do it. You're going to step in it again." And I realized I was about ready to step in it. I was about ready to step into a karmic wheel with this person who had sent that email, and we were about ready to have a karmic relationship. Because I'm sure that after I would have sent that most rude email, he would have responded with like energy, and back and forth we would have gone. So I stopped myself, and I chose not to step in the karmic wheel with him. Can any of you relate? Have you ever stepped into a karmic wheel? Yes. Can I get an amen? Amen. I really love this congregation, really do. A karmic wheel would be likened to the statement, what goes around comes around. What we send out into the universe as a frequency is returned to us in appropriate and equal measure. And Jesus put it this way: "Cast your bread on the water, and it shall return to you." And so the Eastern traditions has called it karma. What you sow, so shall you reap. It is a basic principle to every religion and system of cultural ethics. But no teaching of karma is as clear as a direct experience. Would you not agree? With every action, you either create more on the karmic wheel of what you put out, you get back, or you have the option of choosing grace and living life well. The world is your mirror, a basic teaching that we don't really like to hear. And the reason being is because what's mirrored back to us, we don't always like. The example given to me a number of years ago was you look in the mirror and you say, "Smile." And the reflection is not smiling because you're not smiling. You demand it again, "Smile." And this keeps going on back and forth until you realize that in order for that reflection to smile, you have to smile first. What goes on in here, in the mind and in the heart, will reflect to you out there. The other morning, a dear friend of mine was telling me that she had gotten out of her car and she saw this man who had been drinking and he was dirty. And as she saw him, she just had all these judgments. They just poured through. And she thought, he's smelly, he's drunk, he's disgusting. I'm sure that his family is very disappointed in him. So she's sending him this vibrational frequency, right? And as she began to pass him, he just looked at her and slowly flipped her off. He didn't say anything, just gave her some sign language, reflecting back to her what she was sending out. Yep, she stepped in it. Thank God she is an aware being that caught herself immediately, and we had a nice laugh about the whole experience. Karma acts like a mirror for you to just pause and change and shift. And so we have to look at our own thoughts. We have to look at our own feelings. Years ago, when I lived in Colorado, there was someone who had done me wrong. And my most ministerial self wanted to slash his tires. Come on now, like you never had thoughts like that before. Raise your hand if you've had a thought like that. Okay, good. I know some of you didn't raise your hands. I know you're not telling the truth. Now, I didn't, of course, but it was a thought, and it was a pretty intense thought at that. The next morning, I went out to my car. Sure enough, I had a flat tire. I had to get a new tire. It was a wake-up call for me because I thought about how fast the reflection came back and that you don't have the luxury of negative thoughts. My friends, you don't have the luxury of a negative thought. What you put out comes back, and it may not come back immediately or even the same way, but there will be something that comes back that is at the same level of frequency. You and I walk a very fine line every single day where we have the option of creating more karma, stepping into the karmic wheel, stepping in it, or staying clean and clear. You have the choice to step in it where you just know right before you're about ready to do some kind of act, judge the heck out of someone you don't even know, or just gossip or whatever it might be, and you're at a choice point. Energetically, there's a feeling, isn't there? You know that you are about ready to get engaged into something that may not be in alignment with the life you want to lead. But remember, karma is the result, not the cause. Our vibrations are the cause of karma. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, he called people who constantly stepped into this karmic wheel weary treadmill travelers. I love that. That is such a perfect description. If you are constantly experiencing the same thing with negative outcomes, quite possibly you're a weary treadmill traveler. Actually, we all have been weary treadmill travelers at one time or another. But here's the deal. Things happen. That's just life on planet Earth. Do we then step into the karmic wheel and curse what has just happened, or do we shift and do we keep our eyes single? Keeping your eyes single on God, keeping your trust on God, and just knowing that there is a synchronicity to life, just trusting the synchronicity. Now, over the years, karma has gotten bad press. How many of you have maybe heard, you better not do that, that's bad karma? We probably have all heard that at one time or another. There is, to be sure, great wisdom in the need to give forethought to our actions and to see how we actually bring difficulty upon ourselves. But let's also look at karma in a positive light and to see how this magnificent principle actually works for us. We need to investigate the laws of sowing and reaping from a higher masterful perspective. So let's dissect this a little bit, shall we? First, let us remember our basic law. We are vibrational beings, and the job of the universe is to match our vibration. Remember, you are not a physical being in a physical universe. You are an energetic, vibrational being in an energetic, vibrational universe. You are both the transmitter, the spreader of energy, and the receiver of energy. And our unity teachings, along with quantum physics, says where your attention goes, then universal energy flows, right? We know this. This is basic unity. So if you are sending out vibrations through your actions, such as sending out nasty emails or talking badly about others or posting nastiness on Facebook or chewing somebody out in your mind, that vibration is matched and comes back in various creative, unpredictable ways. What you sow, so shall you reap. This is just a scientific reality. And by the way, there is a collective reality through collective joined thoughts. But most people don't know that, and they create by default. Some people may ask, well, how can my mind influence the outer world, because everything just kind of, it stays in my head, right? A lot of people think that. They just think that their thoughts and their feelings just stay in this little area here. But remember, our thoughts and our feelings are not contained in our head or in our heart. They are emitters of energy. So people who unknowingly create by default by not knowing this one basic truth. They step in it. And then they step in it again and again and again, because they don't know that their outer mirror is the outer world is their mirror. Their attention goes to judgment, to limitation, anger, resentment, and they act from that state. They react from that state. So consequently, they create more of whatever they have put their attention to. My friends, you don't think that we don't have a lot of collective group think going on right now? We do. And it takes a master not to jump into the karmic wheel. I know I'm looking at a lot of masters here today. Did you know that there are people on this planet that have no idea that there's even a pandemic going on? And they are living happy, wonderful, great lives. And there are people who know that there's a pandemic going on, and they're going through this experience in a most zenful, happy way. For them, it's a reset. And there are people who are so engaged with the group negativity that they can't understand why the world is mirroring back to them things that they do not prefer. We have so many groups forming right now, groups that have a collective thought. We have the mask people and the no mask people. We have the Black Lives Matter people. We have the All Lives Matter people. We have this pandemic is so overblown, and those people, and we have the people that are very afraid of this pandemic, and it's going to get worse people. The contrast, it's so amazing for me to be an observer, because the contrast of groups like these are so immense. Have you noticed? And as long as these groups stand in againstness of one another, where one is right and the other is wrong, then I wonder about the evolution of planet Earth. Now, I'm not here to spread any guilt, but I am here to say, live from the observer's point of view. That's your masterful place to be. But what if, my friends, what if, because we're powerful people, what if we put our collective thoughts into the world being healthy, being happy, evolving into loving, harmonious communities? These thoughts are important. And this is why group prayer is so important. Unity's foundation is based on group prayer rising higher than the problem. And this is why we, as good Unity students, are being asked not to take the bait as to what is going on out there and rise to a higher dimension. Because if we collectively broadcast these higher thoughts, then the power of that thought will help change the path we might be headed. This is not just a, hey, that's a nice suggestion. My friends, this is a scientific reality. This is the time in our history to focus our thoughts on higher vibrations, and then collectively we sow what we reap. So all karma is a direct experience of the energy that you put out, that you are putting your attention to. And here's the thing. We need to open to the truth that when our bad karma, if you will, comes back to us, it's a gift. It is a gift that the universe generously and graciously is allowing us to learn how we have strayed from keeping our eye single, and showing us, too, the way to return back to the loving essence of God. If each of us did that, if we shifted, if each of us were conscious of our actions, of our thoughts, of our feelings, and choosing something more positive, there would be peace on earth. Now, before you look out into the world and you might say, well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into, Ollie. Because evidence out there is showing us chaos, isn't it? You turn on the news, chaos. You read the newspaper, chaos. You talk to people that may not be in this way of thinking, chaos. And you're asking, so how do we transcend karma? It's called grace. Grace. And grace transcends karma. So how does one find the grace of God? You know, I wish that I had a very complicated and high complex answer for you, because I would really like to make a big impression on you. But the answer is very, very simple and very easy. Simply by asking for spiritual assistance. Ask for grace. That's all. Let your judgments go. Let the opinions and having to be right, just let that go. Let go of engaging in the daily chaos that the world would like to offer you. Stop, just let go of stepping in it and come home. Come home to grace. God's grace is the expression of love for each one of you. God's grace is for me, it's for you, it's for all people everywhere. But you have to open yourself up to it. So we're going to take a moment right now to open ourselves up to that grace, because we're being called to a higher vibration. I want you to just take a moment, tune in to maybe a time, if you need to remember a time when you really felt that grace of God, just tune into that. It might have been a spiritual experience, something that awakened you. Tune into that, because that is a vibration that's still alive. And as you tune in to that feeling, I want you to extend it out to everyone that's here in this sanctuary and those that are listening to us online. We are now creating a group think, a group consciousness. So now we have magnified. We've magnified that feeling. And so, dear God, I ask for your grace to purify and cleanse our minds. Any thoughts that we might have that participate in the chaos, we just let it go. Grace just washes and cleanses our minds. And dear God, we ask for grace to just shine through our eyes so that everything we see in the world is but a beautiful reflection of you, of light, of love. We ask for this grace now to just wash over our throat and our mouths so that every word we speak is positive, constructive. We ask for this grace to purify our hearts. And as this grace purifies our hearts, there's nothing to fear, but there's only love. Love is in our essence. Let that love so shine through your heart. We ask for this grace to just move through every cell of our physical being, bringing every cell into a place of great joy, great happiness. And as this group consciousness now, so very powerful, so masterful is this group consciousness, we send this grace out into the world to every single person, bringing light to the dark places. And for this, dear God, we do give thanks. And so it is. Amen. And so this is the time in our service where we take up our tithes and offerings and we give it a very special blessing. For those of you that are online, we have, you can donate online. There's a little donate button there. And so I'd like for you to repeat these words after me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I share. Take a moment, bless your gifts in your own way. And so, dear God, I ask at this time that you not only bless the gifts being given here, I ask that you bless each of the givers. And as each giver gives from a heart of kindness and generosity, may it come back to them 1,000-fold and even more in return. May it come back to them in magical, wondrous, and serendipitous ways. For this we do give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Wasn't that beautiful? Ah, I love it. Well, we have a special part of today's service, and that is we're going to bless our new members. We have two people that took the new membership class this last week, and they were so good because we did it on Zoom, and they were just really good about asking all these questions, and it allowed me to just I'm very excited about Unity and its history and its principles, so they entertained one of my highest excitements. So I want to call forth Mary Orr and Jocelyn Archer. If they will come up, let's give them a hand. This is a new way of doing this. Very good. Thank you. We're going to take a moment to just bless them because I want to acknowledge the two of you for making the commitment. When you do a membership class, you're making a commitment to know more and to make a deeper commitment into your own spiritual practice. So thank you for showing us about that. And now we get to bless them. So I'm going to ask you, just put your hands up like this, and you two just be the receivers of great juju here. All right. So I want to, if you will, each one of you, just take a moment, send these two a blessing of great, great gratitude. And send them a blessing of great love for themselves, for their lives, and for the world they live in. Let's send them a blessing of great peace, peace of mind, peace in their bodies, peace in everything that they do. And let us send them a blessing of great joy. Joy in everything that they partake in. And so, dear God, these are your children. We ask that you bestow a blessing upon them that is greater than what they can imagine. And for this blessing, we do give thanks, and so it is. Amen. Oh, thank you, everyone. So, normally I would hug you right about now, so we'll do psychic hugs, but I have a book for you, and this is Unity, the Quest of Truth. We talked a lot about it in our membership class, but it's always a good thing to have this book. I love this book. You're going to love it too. It's called Unity, the Quest for Truth. Let me give that to you. Thank you. And we also have a rose for each of you to take. And just to let you know, the symbol of the rose, I love the symbol of the rose. It means blooming into your life, and that, yes, there will be thorns along the way, but you're going to bloom through it. You're going to bloom through it, and what I love about this is that most of the thorns were taken off. This is smooth sailing for you from now on, my friends. God bless you. Let's give them another hand. No, I think we're good. And so I'm going to call Jim forward. There you go.
Oh, yes. Okay. So here we are now for the prayer of protection. Thank you, Rev Cathy, for a marvelous message, for a moving meditation. You know, if you hold your breath, take your mask down, give her a big smile. She would love that. You just keep communing with the source, Reverend Cathy, blessing us with your wisdom and practical spiritual knowledge and passing it on to us. Thank you, Noreen, for being here, for your great music. Thank you, Peggy, Penny, Jim, Greg, the ushers, and all the others who helped us today. And thank you each for joining us. Now let us stand, keeping our distance, as we say our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Staying standing with your mask on, we will join the singing of our peace song. Thank you so much for joining us today. May this day, this week, be a blessing to you and all those you meet. Slowly pass through the sliding doors out that way. Ushers will help you.